April 22nd, 1967, Uniontown, Pennsylvania. A 45-cent sandwich is about to change fast food forever. 2 beef patties, a secret sauce, shredded lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, a sesame seed bun cut in 3. This is the story of how one franchisee's rebellion against corporate conformity created the Big Mac, and how every single ingredient was sourced, prepared, and assembled in an era before frozen patties and automated kitchens. Jim Delligatti has a problem. It's 1965. He owns a dozen McDonald's franchises in the Pittsburgh area. His restaurants are packed with steelworkers, men who pour molten iron all day and come to his counter hungry, ravenously hungry. But all McDonald's sells is a basic hamburger, a small, single patty, 15 cents. It's not enough for these men. They order 2, 3, sometimes 4 burgers at a time. Delligatti looks across the street at his competition, Big Boy Restaurant. Their signature sandwich has 2 beef patties stacked on a triple-decker bun. The steelworkers love it. He picks up the phone and calls Oak Brook, Illinois, McDonald's corporate headquarters. He pitches his idea: a bigger burger, 2 patties, more toppings. The answer? No. Ray Kroc's McDonald's is built on one principle above all others: standardization. Every hamburger at every McDonald's in America must be identical, the same weight, the same size, the same taste. Kroc took this system from the McDonald brothers in San Bernardino, California, the Speedee Service System. 15 items on the menu, no variations, no exceptions. Jim Delligatti keeps calling, month after month. 1965 becomes 1966. McKnight Road, Ross Township, a suburb north of Pittsburgh. This is where Jim Delligatti conducts his experiments, late at night, after the dinner rush, when the teenage employees have gone home. He stands at the stainless steel prep table in his white shirt and paper hat. Around him, the standard McDonald's ingredients: ground beef, American cheese slices, pickles, onions, ketchup, mustard. The challenge isn't the patties. He simply cooks 2 instead of 1. The challenge is structure. How do you stack 2 meat patties plus toppings plus sauce without creating an unstable, sloppy mess that falls apart when customers bite into it? Delligatti tries different combinations. He experiments with lettuce placement, cheese positioning, sauce distribution. Then it hits him. He needs a middle bun, a 3rd slice of bread between the patties to create 2 separate levels. A double-decker design, just like Big Boy's. Here's where Jim Delligatti breaks the rules. McDonald's standard hamburger bun is a plain, small circle of enriched white bread. No sesame seeds, no variations, definitely no triple-cut design. Delligatti picks up the phone and calls his local bakery supplier. His request is simple but unprecedented. Create a larger bun topped with sesame seeds, pre-cut into 3 horizontal slices. The bun needs to be about 4 inches in diameter, bigger than the standard McDonald's bun. The middle slice, what bakers call the club, must be thin enough to separate the 2 patty levels without overwhelming the sandwich. The bakery agrees. Within weeks, they're delivering custom sesame seed buns to Delligatti's Ross Township location. Corporate wanted him to use existing ingredients. Delligatti decided to interpret that rule creatively. Every great burger needs a signature sauce, and Jim Delligatti knows exactly what flavor profile he wants. In the back kitchen, he starts with what he has: mayonnaise, sweet pickle relish, yellow mustard, white vinegar. He adds paprika for color, garlic powder, onion powder. The result is something like Thousand Island dressing, but tangier, a little sweeter with more pickle flavor and a subtle kick from the vinegar. He tests batch after batch, too sweet, too tangy, too thick, too runny. Finally, he creates a version that works, creamy enough to spread easily, flavorful enough to complement the beef without overpowering it, distinct enough that customers will recognize it as something special. By 1972, when McDonald's standardizes the sauce nationwide, they'll call it Big Mac Sauce 72. But here in 1967, it's just Delligatti's secret recipe. Where does the beef come from? In 1967, McDonald's ground beef arrives fresh, not frozen, from regional meat processors. In western Pennsylvania, suppliers source cattle from ranches across the Midwest, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois. The process begins at the slaughterhouse. Cattle are processed into primals, the large sections of the carcass. For McDonald's, the cuts that matter are chuck, round, and sirloin, the trimmings and lesser-used portions that contain the ideal ratio of lean meat to fat. The target, 80% lean, 20% fat. This ratio ensures the patties cook properly on the griddle without becoming dry or greasy. At the processing plant, workers feed the beef through industrial grinders, massive machines with rotating blades that reduce chunks of meat to uniform ground beef. The ground beef is then packed into waxed cardboard boxes, loaded onto refrigerated trucks, and delivered to McDonald's restaurants within 24 to 48 hours. In 1967, there's no such thing as pre-formed frozen patties at McDonald's. Each restaurant receives bulk ground beef. Each restaurant forms its own patties. The tool is simple, a manual patty press. It's a small, hand-operated device with a circular mold. A worker scoops a measured portion of ground beef, 1.6 ounces, and places it in the press. One firm push, and out comes a perfectly circular patty. The patties are thin, about a 1/4 inch thick, designed to cook quickly on the hot griddle. They're formed fresh throughout the day, stacked on wax paper sheets to prevent sticking. Consistency matters. Every patty must weigh within a few tenths of an ounce of the target. Every patty must have the same diameter. McDonald's quality inspectors visit regularly to check compliance. For the Big Mac, Delligatti simply forms 2 patties per sandwich instead of 1. Same size, same weight, same process. The heart of every McDonald's kitchen is the griddle. It's a massive slab of polished steel, usually 4 feet long, heated by gas burners underneath. The surface temperature is precisely calibrated, 375 degrees Fahrenheit. In 1967, McDonald's uses flat-top griddles without clamshell lids. The patties cook on one side, then get flipped by hand using a flat metal spatula. Each patty cooks for approximately 1 minute per side. A small amount of salt and pepper is applied during cooking, the only seasoning allowed. The sizzle is constant. The aroma of beef fat hitting hot steel fills the kitchen. Tiny wisps of smoke rise from the griddle. The cook watches for visual cues. The edges of the patty begin to brown. The surface glistens with rendered fat. When properly cooked, the patty has a thin crust of caramelized meat on the outside and remains juicy within. Here's what makes the Big Mac bun different from every other hamburger bun in America. After baking and cooling, the buns go through an additional step, the triple cut. A bakery worker guides each bun through a slicing machine that makes 2 horizontal cuts instead of the usual single cut. The result? 3 round slices of bread, a bottom, a middle, and a top. The middle slice, sometimes called the club, is thinner than the top and bottom. Its purpose is purely structural. It creates a stable platform between the 2 beef patties, preventing the toppings from sliding and the whole sandwich from collapsing.
This triple-cut design is the key innovation that transforms a messy double patty sandwich into something customers can actually hold and eat. The finished buns are loaded into paper bags, packed into cardboard boxes, and delivered to Delligatti's restaurants daily. Freshness matters. The buns begin to stale within 24 hours.
The cheese on a McBack isn't traditional cheese. It's a 20th century innovation, processed American cheese. In 1916, a Canadian immigrant named James Kraft patented a method for preserving cheese by heating it with emulsifying salts. The result? A smooth, uniform product that melts predictably and lasts for weeks without refrigeration. By 1967, processed cheese comes in individually wrapped slices, a format introduced by Kraft just 2 years earlier. Each slice is about 3 inches square, bright orange-yellow from added annatto coloring, and wrapped in cellophane. The composition, roughly 60% real cheese, mostly cheddar, blended with whey, milk proteins, emulsifying salts, and preservatives. The mixture is heated, blended, formed into sheets, and cut into squares. For a fast food burger, processed cheese is perfect. It melts evenly under heat, doesn't separate or become greasy, and delivers consistent flavor across millions of sandwiches. On the Big Mac, 1 slice of American cheese goes on the bottom patty, positioned so it will melt slightly from the meat's residual heat. The lettuce comes from California's Salinas Valley, the salad bowl of the world. This narrow valley running southeast from Monterey Bay has a microclimate perfect for leafy greens. Cool, foggy mornings, mild, sunny afternoons, rich, well-drained soil. Workers harvest the iceberg lettuce by hand, cutting each head at the base with a sharp knife. The outer leaves are removed in the field, leaving only the dense, pale inner head. In 1967, lettuce travels from California to Pennsylvania by refrigerated railroad car or truck, a journey of 3 to 4 days. The heads are packed in crushed ice to maintain cold temperatures and moisture. At the McDonald's restaurant, workers prepare the lettuce fresh each morning. They core the heads, remove any damaged outer leaves, and hand shred the remaining lettuce using a sharp knife on a cutting board. For the Big Mac, Delligatti specifies shredded lettuce, not leaf lettuce. The thin shreds distribute more evenly across the sandwich and provide a consistent crunch in every bite.
The pickles are dill slices, thin, round cross-sections of cucumber preserved in a brine of water, vinegar, salt, and dill weed. Pickling cucumbers, a specific variety smaller and crunchier than slicing cucumbers, are harvested in summer from farms in the Midwest. They're washed, sorted by size, and placed in large stainless steel tanks. The brine solution is heated and poured over the cucumbers. The tanks are sealed and left to cure for several weeks. During this time, the vinegar and salt penetrate the cucumber, transforming its texture from raw and watery to firm and tangy. After curing, the pickles are machine sliced into uniform rounds, about 1/8 of an inch thick, packed into jars or plastic buckets and shipped to restaurants. Each Big Mac receives 2 pickle slices, placed on top of the bottom patty alongside the cheese. The pickles provide acid and crunch, a counterpoint to the richness of the beef and sauce. McDonald's pickle recipe is specifically formulated to be slightly sweeter and less sour than typical dill pickles, creating a flavor profile unique to the brand.
The pickles are dill slices, thin, round cross-sections of cucumber preserved in a brine of water, vinegar, salt, and dill weed. Pickling cucumbers, a specific variety smaller and crunchier than slicing cucumbers, are harvested in summer from farms in the Midwest. They're washed, sorted by size, and placed in large stainless steel tanks. The brine solution is heated and poured over the cucumbers.
The tanks are sealed and left to cure for several weeks. During this time, the vinegar and salt penetrate the cucumber, transforming its texture from raw and watery to firm and tangy. After curing, the pickles are machine sliced into uniform rounds about 1/8 of an inch thick, packed into jars or plastic buckets and shipped to restaurants. Each Big Mac receives 2 pickle slices, placed on top of the bottom patty alongside the cheese. The pickles provide acid and crunch, a counterpoint to the richness of the beef and sauce. McDonald's pickle recipe is specifically formulated to be slightly sweeter and less sour than typical dill pickles, creating a flavor profile unique to the brand. The onions arrive dehydrated. Fresh onions present problems for fast food. They make workers' eyes water, they spoil quickly, and their flavor varies depending on season and source. Dehydrated onions solve all 3 issues. At processing plants, fresh onions are peeled, diced, and passed through industrial dehydrators, long ovens that circulate hot air to remove moisture. The dried onion pieces shrink to a fraction of their original size and become shelf-stable for months. At McDonald's restaurants, workers reconstitute the dehydrated onions by soaking them in water for several hours. They absorb moisture and return to something approximating their fresh texture, though with a milder, sweeter flavor than raw onion. After reconstitution, the onions are drained and stored in covered containers in the refrigeration unit. They're applied to sandwiches with a small spoon or sprinkled by hand. On the Big Mac, the minced onions go on both levels of the sandwich, atop the sauce on each bun section. They provide a subtle sharpness that cuts through the richness of the sauce and beef.
Next, 3 cheeseburgers and a...
The McDonald's kitchen operates like a factory. This is the Speedee Service System, the revolutionary method developed by the McDonald brothers in 1948 and refined by Ray Kroc throughout the 1950s and 60s. Each worker has one specific job. The grill man cooks patties, nothing else. The fry cook handles French fries, nothing else. The dresser assembles sandwiches, nothing else. This specialization creates speed. A worker who does one task thousands of times becomes extremely fast at that task. There's no mental switching, no confusion, no variation. Every movement is prescribed by the McDonald's Operations Manual, a document that by 1967 runs hundreds of pages. The manual specifies exactly how to hold a spatula, how to salt a patty, how to place a pickle. The result? A hamburger can be assembled in under 30 seconds. An entire order, burger, fries, drink, can be ready in under a minute. Watch the dresser work. She picks up the bottom bun, the heel, and places it on the stainless steel assembly table. One pull of the sauce gun dispenses a measured portion of special sauce onto the bun. 2. A sprinkle of reconstituted minced onions goes on the sauce. Then a small handful of shredded lettuce, just enough to cover the surface. 3. The first beef patty, hot from the griddle, goes on top. Then 1 slice of American cheese, positioned to melt slightly from the meat's heat. 2 pickle slices. 4. Now the middle bun, the club, goes on top of the first stack. More sauce, more onions, more lettuce. 5. The second beef patty, no cheese on this level. 6. Finally, the top bun, the crown, sesame seeds facing up. The dresser gives the sandwich a gentle press with her palm to compact it, then slides it into its cardboard container. Total assembly time, approximately 25 seconds. Step inside a 1967 McDonald's kitchen. Every employee wears the same uniform, a crisp white short-sleeved shirt, white apron tied at the waist, and a disposable paper hat featuring the McDonald's Golden Arches logo. The all-white color scheme is deliberate. It communicates cleanliness. Any stain, any grease spot, any food residue is immediately visible against the white fabric. Workers change aprons multiple times per shift. Hand washing stations are positioned throughout the kitchen. Workers wash their hands before touching food, after handling raw meat, after touching their face or hair, after any break. The operations manual specifies the hand washing procedure. Wet hands, apply soap, scrub for 20 seconds, rinse thoroughly, dry with paper towels. Food handling. Most food is handled with metal utensils, spatulas, tongs, spoons, rather than bare hands. Gloves are not yet standard in 1967, but the strict hygiene protocols minimize contamination risk. This emphasis on sanitation reflects the post-World War II era, when Americans were increasingly concerned about food safety and hygiene in public eating establishments.
The equipment in a 1967 McDonald's kitchen is designed for one purpose: speed. The flat-top griddle dominates one wall, 4 to 6 feet of polished steel, gas-heated from below, with grease channels that direct rendered fat into collection trays. Next to the griddle, the deep fryer, a rectangular stainless steel basin filled with hot vegetable oil, around 350 degrees, for cooking French fries. A wire basket lowers the cut potatoes into the oil and lifts them out when golden. Against another wall, the multi-mixer, the same milkshake machine that first brought Ray Kroc to the McDonald Brothers' original restaurant. It can mix multiple milkshakes simultaneously. A heated holding area keeps assembled hamburgers warm for a short time, no more than 10 minutes before service. Infrared heat lamps provide warmth from above. Refrigeration. Walk-in refrigerators and freezers store perishables, ground beef, lettuce, cheese, pickles, condiments. What's notable about this equipment is its simplicity. There are no computers, no timers, no digital displays. Everything is manual, requiring trained workers who understand the visual and tactile cues of proper cooking.
In 1967, the Big Mac gets its own distinctive packaging. It's a collapsible cardboard container, square, with tabs that fold together to create a hinged lid. The exterior is printed with the McDonald's logo and the words Big Mac in bold lettering. Inside the box, a circular piece of cardboard fits around the sandwich. This collar serves two purposes. It holds the Big Mac upright during transport, and it prevents the sandwich from shifting and compressing. The box is sized precisely for the Big Mac's dimensions, about 4 inches in diameter, 3 inches tall. It's large enough to contain the sandwich without crushing it, small enough to fit comfortably in a paper bag for takeout orders. The materials are food grade, printed with vegetable-based inks. The circular collar is wax-coated to resist moisture from the sauce and meat. In future years, this cardboard packaging will eventually be replaced by polystyrene foam clamshells in the late 1970s, lighter, better insulated, cheaper to produce. But in 1967, cardboard is the standard.
That Big Mac really is something else.